Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the Tuba Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community.
My name is Naledi Mfoloe, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News Channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. 13 individuals have been granted bail after being accused of defrauding Nedbank to the value of a staggering 157 million. Yes, you heard that right. 157 million. But here's the kicker, right? These suspects, almost entirely white folks, have been granted bail. And let me tell you, a lot of people aren't happy about this. And honestly, I can't blame them, right? I share that frustration. Why? Because the perception is loud and clear. Had these suspects been Black, they would have never been granted bail. Don't get me wrong, right? Every individual is presumed innocent until proven guilty. That is the cornerstone of our legal system, right? But when we look at the facts, the reality is stark. And it paints a very uncomfortable picture of what many of us see as a double standard in how the justice system is served in this country. I mean, let's break it down, right? 13 individuals, and that is including professionals in the banking and financial sector, stand accused of this massive fraud scheme. And they allegedly swindled 157 million from one of the biggest banks in the country. I mean, that's no small sum. That's a life-changing amount of money. And it's the kind of money that could have been used to fund thousands of small businesses, to build infrastructure, to actually invest in education and healthcare. But instead, it's gone into the pockets of a group of people who abused the trust placed in them. But despite the gravity of the crimes, these individuals are walking free on bail while they await trial. And here's where the problem lies for me, right? The public perception of this case is shaped by a history that many of us cannot ignore. It's a history where Black South Africans, especially those from working class backgrounds, are too often denied bail. And it's a history where Black suspects are portrayed as dangerous and a flight risk, often with harsher conditions imposed or even bail outright denied, even in cases where the alleged crime doesn't come close to the magnitude of this fraud. And let's be real, right? We've all seen it. In recent years, we've watched Black South Africans accused of much smaller crimes, some even non-violent, sitting behind bars without bail, months or even years waiting for their day in court. Yet here, we have a group of individuals who, according to reports, managed to pull one of the most sophisticated financial frauds in South African history, and they're granted bail. Why is that? Well, here's the uncomfortable truth we have to face. White privilege. White privilege is a real thing in South Africa, and it shows up in the most infuriating of ways. It shows up in the courtroom when white suspects are treated with the benefit of doubt, while Black suspects are more often than not viewed with suspicion and seen as threats, or even denied basic rights to a fair bail hearing. And the fact that these individuals who have been accused of defrauding an entire bank of a mind-blogging amount of money can walk free on bail just reinforces that imbalance. And that's the problem, right? The system isn't working equally for all South African, and it's still broken. This incident serves as a painful reminder that when it comes to justice in South Africa, it often depends on the color of your skin. Now, I understand that some people will say, but everyone deserves a fair trial, right? And I agree. But fairness is what we all are after here, isn't it? And we don't want a justice system that is biased or one that makes decisions based on race. We want a justice system that works for all South Africans equally. But right now, it feels like there are two South Africas, one for the privileged and one for the rest of us. And this case is just the latest example of that divide. And this right here is white privilege at its finest. I believe it's something we need to talk about, because it's only when we acknowledge these imbalances, when we face these uncomfortable truths, that we begin to actually fix the system. I think that we must demand that justice is truly blind, that it does not pick and choose based on race or class or privilege. And until that day comes, this will continue to be a bitter pill for many of us to swallow. And it's a pill that many Black South Africans, myself included, are tired of swallowing. Now, with that being said, what is your opinion on this? Please, let's engage in the comments section. We really want to hear from you. Let's continue the conversation and continue the engagement. And while you're at it, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me. Till we meet again, it is goodbye for now.
Download the African Diaspora News app.